We have all seen the breakdown of the temporary humanitarian pause this morning, which was actually, we learned earlier from our military expert, was precipitated by an attack by Hamas or an Hamas supporting group on the state of Israel. What, apart from that, were the other causes of this breakdown in the temporary pause?
Basically, we had an agreement, we had a framework, and they were supposed to give back to us 10 hostages each day. And for that, they would have 24 hours more of this humanitarian pause. They did not give the hostages back as they promised. And so, as we said in advance, we started the fight again. It's really important for me to relate the context. I think many viewers probably remember, but still, October 7th was the worst day in Israel's history. It was the worst day since the Holocaust. We lost more than 1,200 people who were not just murdered, they were slaughtered brutally. Some of them were abused before or after death. And so the whole idea that we went into this war, we did not choose it, we did not want it, but we know that we must make sure that this never happens again. So the whole thing was about a humanitarian pause. It was supposed to be as long as we're going to get back our hostages, because that's one of the main goals of this war, to get our hostages back. Imagine, there's still probably a baby there, even though they said that he's dead, but there still might be a 10-month-old baby. There are women there, there are young people, there are old people. And so we want them all back here. That's one of the goals. And the other goal is that the Hamas will not rule in Gaza anymore. It's also for the sake of the Palestinians there. But first and foremost is that this October 7th massacre will never happen again.
Ilana, we've been talking today about your Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who has said, and I quote him, "There is no way we are going to stop the fighting until the end." And we have been discussing on the show about the end, meaning the removal of Hamas from any position, governmental position in Gaza. Do you have any idea about how long that may take, how long it will be before the government of Israel is capable of saying we are at the end now and looking at what peace may look like in the future?
I know that there are teams working on it in the Prime Minister's office and in other offices, and they're trying to figure out, the day after plan. But it's very complicated. As you know, if it would have been simple, then it could have happened many, many years ago, but it's not. It's complicated. And whatever the solution will be, what will happen is that we will not have a terror system there that rules over the people in Gaza. That is something that must not happen again. And we must make sure that the education system there that takes place is going to be fair, and that the people there have good lives. Now, how exactly will that be? Who's going to be, what kind of system will be there? I don't know, and I don't think anybody knows yet. And we don't even know when it's going to take place. But definitely, we're working on it also with our allies, but also different teams inside the ministry in Israel, and trying to figure it out.
And it's hugely encouraging to hear that there is a plan for peace. People are not just thinking about violence and war, people are planning for peace as well. I know that the United States of America and the governments of the UAE, particularly Qatar, have played a huge role so far in supporting efforts for peace in the region. We were talking earlier about the British Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, going over to UAE for the COP summit. Do you think Britain has a role to play here with our international partners to strive for peace in Gaza, the State of Israel, and Palestine?
Definitely, our allies have a role. And I think that what is most important is to realize what is the core issue and what is the core problem. If it would have been just something simple like land, if it would have been a dispute over land, it would have been resolved years ago, because also they were offered land. PLO was offered land, Hamas was offered the land, and we also left the Gaza Strip. We're not there anymore, and we haven't been there for years. So it would have been that simple, then it would have been resolved. But it's not simple. This is something else. And Hamas says that their charter is they want to destroy us. They want to kill all the Jews. From the river to the sea means that from the Mediterranean Sea to the Jordan River, there won't be any Jews left alive. Now, when you have a terror organization that's their goal, then there's no way to discuss peace with them. They don't want peace. They don't want a land of their own. They don't want to govern their people in peace. They want to destroy Israel and kill all the Jews. And of course, there's no negotiations with a group of like this. So I think what all parties have to understand is how we make sure that the next group that will govern in Gaza will be a group that will actually want to have a peace agreement with Israel and will want to live side by side with us. Who will this group be? How can we make sure that terror organization does not again rule Gaza? That definitely is something that we need our allies in the world to help us with, and make sure also that when money goes into Gaza, it will go into peaceful things. It'll go into education system. It'll go into hospitals. It will
Rebuilding
go
of
into
Gaza.
the economic relief, positive things, definitely.